So, if you are ready, Leonards, we could start. Yeah, you are ready? Everything fine?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can start.
Yeah, hello and welcome to Riga Power BI last meetup this year. So it's end of the year, and this is our last meetup. And today we have our special guest and kind contributor and community member for Power BI. It's not many times before Leonard's shared his knowledge and information with our group members. So and today he's here. So Leonard, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the screen. I will use it. So, hello everyone. My name is Leonard, and I am my main job. I'm a lecturer in Riga Technical University, and there I'm working with students, and I teach them business intelligence. So how you can visualize data, how you can bring data to the end user, to the managers, and we are using, obviously, in the practical works, we are using widely used tools like Excel and also Power BI. So that's why we are connected with the Power BI meetup group, because we are also teaching our students how to analyze data with Power BI. And in the beginning, obviously, you have to start somewhere, and we start with Excel. Okay, so plan for today's meetup. I will show you some examples of what we can do with new functions and with the new engine, Excel engine that arrived to us with the newest Office 365. If you want to do it with me, try with me, I will share a file in the chat. I think it should work. So you can use it and work with me and ask some questions maybe. Also, usually I like to communicate with my students or participants of my classes. So if you have a question, please ask your question. If you have a web camera, use it, because it's so nice to see faces. And as I'm always saying to my students, you will never look worse than in life. So don't be afraid of web camera. A web camera actually makes you look better. So use it.
How it goes, Leonard? You probably your lectures in the previous months were more remotely, right?
Of course, all of them.
So, what is behavior of students? Are they sharing their faces? Are they turning it on cameras, or it's a problem?
In March and April, it was a problem. In October and November, it's no longer a big problem, because, again, we are also using Zoom. And as you can see, you can build a very interesting surrounding with the Zoom. And we are using all kinds of filters in Zoom. You can add whatever you want on your face, and it looks interesting. Plus, we are playing different games. Like, for example, in my classes, we have this Russian roulette game, and it goes like this. So when I'm asking the question and no one is answering, then the students without cameras, they are in risks of being kicked out from the class. So I go through the list of those who are without camera, and randomly just kick out someone, because he is not talking and he is not with a camera. So it means that he's not participating in class. So there are a lot of ways how you can interact with students in Zoom. And when we use these techniques, of course, then more and more students comes to the classes with the cameras. In Zoom, with my computer, I can see 49 faces on the screen. So it's almost all the classes are full with Zoomers with cameras, because even though if I have a class with, let's say, 60 students, then 50 of them are with cameras, and then 10 are just doing something, cooking or whatever they're doing that time. I don't know, but we are trying. yeah, again, talking about my students, I would like to start with a small advertisement of the test that my students will take on the first week of January, and you are welcome to participate in that test. And not only you, but if you know someone who could be interested in this, then please share with them. I will show it to you. It's in Latvian because our study program is in Latvian, so it's also will happen in Latvian. So this is our. I will share the link in chat with you. Will I find it? Okay, this is the chat. So this is the link. So what this is, it's an open webinar that my students will held, and they will be those who will teach others how to use Excel. So we were learning throughout the semester, and now we have 3 days. Here you can see 3 days, 5th, 6th, and 7th of January. In 2 o'clock for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, they will present they will try to teach. So it will be practical webinar where you can participate. If you register through this link, you will be able to receive files and work with them while they will present. So I will grade them based on how well they did it, and maybe you will be able to learn something from them also. Yeah, so 0. I'm sharing the date in a chat also. Okay, so that's the chat. That's the okay. So if you're interested, please come and be those students for my students. Okay, and this is my second webinar that we are making. The first one was about Power BI, and this one will be about Excel, because this semester was about Excel, and the previous was about Power BI. Okay, so that's the first step. A small intro from my part. Now, for everyone, I would like to add okay, and now I'm a bit confused how to add a file, how to send the file here.
You should have a function
because I don't see it.
in chat, 3 dot host only. Okay, I will give you a host rights. Maybe it's needed. Make a host. Yeah, okay. Now you are host.
Now yeah, I'm feeling powerful also, but still, I don't see that option. So what we will do about that?
How to share it? So can you add this as a link to the meetup group, meetup in meetup.com in chat, or can you share it as a link?
Yes, I'm working on it. I will share it as a link. It will be easier for everyone. Okay. Share. And now we go. Okay, this should go. Try it. It should work. You can download this file, or you can work in Office 365, actually. It's up to you. Now, I hope it's working. And someone is giving the feedback to me with his head, so thank you for that. Some kind of feedback. It's always.
Yeah, it works.
Okay, so it's a very simple data set that I'm using in my classes. Actually, I have created it several minutes ago. And actually, the way how I did it also involves new functions. So maybe I will later also show you how it works. Okay, so let's try this one. Now, this is actually a very new functionality to Excel. And we heard about this functionality for some time, because if you are watching Excel podcasts in YouTube or Excel videos there, you probably heard about those functions years ago, because in preview they were available through Excel MVPs in 2018 or in 2019, and now they are available to us, to normal people, with Office 365. So if you are using Office 365, then you probably will get those tools and you'll get this functionality. I need to pay your attention to some details before we start. Okay, so if you don't know the difference between Office 365 and others, then I need to fill you in this. So the main difference is that Office 365 is personalized to your needs, to your account. So there's your name to it, and you log into this version with your company or your personal account, and that means that your Office 365 is personalized. And it also means that if you, for example, in your company also, it's possible that you will work on different Excel 365 versions. Okay, so if you go to Files and Account, okay, and so here about Excel, this is the place where you can find out your current version. Okay, and this is important. This is important to us to understand this part here. And this shows what is your capability. So especially this build number here, it could be different on different machines, even in your organization, and that means that some functions will work and some functions will not. Okay, so you have to pay attention to this one. And if your IT guys for some reason stop the updates, because sometimes IT guys do that, you should ask them to update your Excels, because each time they update Excel, some new function could arrive to you and a new functionality can come to you. Right now, for example, we are waiting for a new function that is called Lambda. Maybe you have heard about that. And this will be very cool function. It will actually diminish VBA entirely, almost, because with Lambda function you can create your own user-defined functions in Excel without programming, without VBA, and it will work exactly the same way as a Excel function, but it will be programmed from Excel environment, not from VBA environment. And we are waiting for it. By we, I mean those who know about it, but does not have Excel insider privileges to use this function as preview. But so this is the beginning, something that we need to discuss, so you know why it may not work on your machine. The same thing that I will show you, and what you should do to make it work. So you have to just update your Excel Office 365. And the last idea is that if you are using online version, then there you will have always the latest possible version. So if you have online version, you can do whatever we are doing today here. but you don't need to worry about the versions. Okay, so let's start. And what is the main goal of today's class? Let's call it like this. Is to show you the capabilities of new calculation engine. So if you use Office 365, then we can say that it's a new way how Excel calculates everything. And maybe you already saw it previously. Now I will try to explain it to you. If you know more than that I will show you, please don't hesitate to share your wisdom with us, because again, it's a very new topic and probably you will know something that I don't know and vice versa. Okay, now why we need a new engine? What this new engine is doing? It's trying to give you the power of let's not call it big data, but a lot of data. So when you have a lot of data, it's very frustrating to work with it in Excel because it's slow and your calculations are getting very sophisticated, and you have several steps that you have to perform before you get to your final result, and so on, so on, so on. So the new engine is a way how you can make this process easier. And this new engine allows you to create very interactive reports. And what we will do today, we will try to build a report that will show us different layers of this data. And it's more interactive than Pivot. The Pivot is the easiest way so far, but this one gives us the tools with which you can create very simple interface that end user without any knowledge of Excel can use by pressing buttons, just by looking at it, and it does not have to remember some refresh buttons to push or some manual things it should do with the pivots, like refresh, for example. So let's build our report. So let's start with simple thing. Of course, we have to create a database for us because that's the basis of everything. So I will be using Excel table. Okay, so if you want, you can do it also. But if you don't want, you can use arrange. So I will call this data. So what I did here, I created an Excel table, and I did it with keyboard combinations. And so manually, you can go to the Insert tab. So your cursor is somewhere in a table. You go to Insert, you press Table here, and your table is created. What else I did? I changed the name of this table, because later you will see it's a very good idea to change your name. And when you have created your Excel table, here on the right side, you will see Table Design tab. And under that tab, here on the left side, you will see table name. And then you type your name, whatever fits to you. Now, I'm using those two letters in the beginning, TB. Why I'm doing this? Because when I create some Excel solutions, it's rarely when it's one table, it's several tables. So it helps me to track the names of the tables. I just start typing TB, and it gives me the lists of all tables that I have in my file. And then I just select the one I need. So I always start with TB. If you want, I think it's a very good idea to start like this. It makes life easier. Okay, so this will be my table data, and this will be my table product. Okay, I will do here the same thing, but I will do it manually, so you see again what I did here. So I place my cursor in a table, I go to Insert, then I select a table, like this. Here, the important part on this step is to check whether I have a checkbox, because it's important for us that we have a table name, column names. So you press OK, perfect. And then on my table design tab on the left side, I just come up with a name. In my case, it will be TB product. Okay, so this is the name of my table. Very simple idea. Now, the next step, I will create a simple report. And in that simple report, I would like to see how many each products we have sold. Very simple report. So product names and quantities, one to another. I will do it with the pivot in the beginning, and then I will do the same thing with the new functions and with the new functionality. Okay. So let's start. Let's start with the pivot. I will just place it somewhere on my screen. Let's say here. So I need product and I need quantity. Okay. So that's. I will add some columns here. So very simple report, like this. So that's how we would do this thing with this report previously. Now, the good thing about this is simple. Okay, everyone can do that. But if my data changes, if I have a new data and I get this data with Power Query, or I just copy it down copy to the next row in my table, I have to remember to refresh this report. So I have to click on that on this pivot table. I have to go to the pivot table, analyze, and I have to press refresh. If I have several pivots, I need to do that with all of them if they are from different data sources and so on. And of course, my end user, the person for whom I create this report, also have to remember to do that. And this is the part when we will use where the new functions and the new capabilities are better than pivot, because you don't have to do that anymore. You just create a formula, and with that formula, everything will just happen. Okay, so let's start with a simple example. Step number one. What we understand under new engine? What new engine means? New engine means that now I will call this spill engine. You can in the blocks you can see that someone calls it new array engine or new calculation engine. So what I will do here, I will type. Let's say I will type TB data. And if I did this in the previous Excel versions, nothing would happen. I would press enter, worst case scenario values, best case scenario first cell. When I do the same thing in new Excel, 365, what I get a spill range. So whole my range is spilled out in my Excel sheet, and now I see all the values in my data. So this is how it looks like. Now, since it's a spill range, it has some limitations. Like for example, if here I have a text, and then I will try to spill something, and I know that TB data has more columns, it will give me this a new error. It says spill. It means that something is on the way of my range. So if I want to spill out, I have to delete this text, and if I do that, then I see all my data. So the idea behind the spill engine is that now you can create multiple calculations with multiple cells in the same time. Previously, we could do that only if we knew about Control-Shift-Enter combination. So if you know that combination, you no longer need it, because now you have spill engine. Okay, so let's start step by step. First part, I will type TB data, and I will select not whole table, but I will select only one column, and using table I can do that with square brackets. So I define the name of the table, square brackets, column name, and then close the square brackets. I hit enter, and right now I see the list of all products. So actually what I'm doing right now, I'm just copying this column, right one by one. But I don't need this. What I need unique values. right? I need only unique values from my columns, so only the product names, not all the occurrences of my product. So what I will do here, I will use a new function that Excel calls unique. As usual, pretty logical name for the function. So if you type unique, you specify the range from which this unique value you would like to extract. You press enter, and as you can see here, we see the list with only unique values. And this list is dynamic comparing to the pivot. Means that if you will add a new product to your data, your formula automatically will pick this up and make your list longer. Or if you will delete some products, it will make your list shorter. Okay, so this is pretty simple idea. Now, just to make our life easier, I will use, not easier, but let's say fancy. Okay, let's say fancy. I will use another function before my unique, and this function is sort. Also a very cool function, a very useful one. If you like everything sorted in your life, then you should use sort. So what we do here, the same idea applies. Function unique extracts only unique products. Function sort sorts those products alphabetically, like this. Also, you can see that sort function has several arguments where you can specify sort order. You can specify which column you would like to sort if you want to sort not one but several columns, several arrange with several columns. And you can also specify by which column you can do that. Yeah, but it's again very simple idea. You press enter and you're done. When we talk about new functions, I would like to talk about ways how you write your code also. So this is I think this is the good place to do that. So if you come here, if you have Power BI background, then you will understand what will happen next. But if you don't know, if you don't have Power BI background, that's not a big problem. When you will come to the Power BI, you will have Excel background and it will help you there. So what I mean by this, I mean that when you create spill formulas, you can format your text, your code in a Power BI way, in DAX way, so it makes your life easier. Right now, maybe it's unnecessary because the code is short, but in the end of the class, I expect us to build a very sophisticated formula, and there we need this knowledge. Okay, so what I did here, if you don't know, I will tell you, because that's the point of this meetup, right? So what I'm doing here, I'm using my Alt key and my Enter key to bring my code into next line. And the next logic is that when your function starts, you leave it in one row, and then if your function has something in it, you put it on the next row, like this. And then also the idea that you finish your function on the same line when you start the same function, so you can see how it looks like. So Shift and Alt Enter and space if you want to move something, and backspace if you want to delete your movements. Okay, so that's how it looks like. Again, not so important maybe, but previously for that year, we also saw that washing your hands is also not so important, and now we know that it is. So this is very similar here. So what we have learned so far, skill engine. So you have multiple results into your sheet, and then two functions, sort and unique, that allow you to manipulate your data and clear your data. Now let's create a simple calculation that gives us this number, so A32. So by default, if you look into our data, it's simple count, that just count how many times I have this specific product in this table. So let's do that. So since it's a count and there is a small test to it, criteria, so we will be using count if function here. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so count if range, so where I would like to count. So again, since I have my table name, I can build a very simple code, TB data product. So go to my table product and look there. So in my computer, I have semicolons. So on your computers, maybe you have commas. So notice the difference. And in this case, I choose a product that I need and I hit enter. And this is wrong. Oh, sorry, quantity. You see, and no one told me. Okay. Sorry, my mistake. I was preoccupied with all the awesome things that I'm telling you, and I forgot that the main idea of this topic. Let me bring this one. Okay, so this is the correct number. So I was using count if. It's number of deals. It's not quantity. Sorry. Yes. But the good thing that I understand my mistake. Okay, so this is the number 154 because I'm counting. Sorry, I need to sum it. So it will be sum if, but idea will be the same. So TB data product criteria is this. The only difference that I have to add what I need to sum afterwards, and it will be quantity with 2t quantity. Very interesting. Okay, so this is the number. Now it's working. Okay, so in previous life, what we should do here, we should double click on this and bring our formula down to the last possible product. Okay, so that's what was required from us previously. Now, because we have a spill engine, we have a new address capabilities available to us, a little bit different. So first of all, before we proceed, again, I would like us to notice very important difference from the previous experience in Excel. Now, when we look at this formula here and this column here, what we have to understand is that formula is only here. We do not have formulas in those cells. In those cells here, we have just values. The formula itself is here. And now that also means that if we understand this part, we understand that the length of this column, it's also dependent only on how many calculations will be made in first cell. So first cell controls everything and there is nothing in other cells. But, okay, you see this one. This formula uses not the first cell, this formula uses this specific cell and still working. So because the value is in a cell, formula is in the first cell. So this is the difference. So you spill out the results, but the formula stays on the first cell that you were using. Okay, so if this is clear for us, then it will be easy to understand what happens here, because right now what I will do, instead of selecting P2, I will select everything that P2 will generate. Okay, so what I do here, I put a hashtag after my cell. So when I do that, it gives me this ability to select the entire region. And again, important to understand, we are not specifying how large this region is. It will be specified by this tool automatically later. So you hit enter and you have the list of the same numbers. But now this solution is totally automatic because now you have spill engine in work. So this formula will generate as many rows as it will be required because of the unique names of your product. and this column will be generated as long as you require, because then we will look into our product names and we'll calculate for them all necessary summits. Okay, so that's how, in a nutshell, new engine works. And now you have here product, and this is deals, and those are quantity. Let's try. Yes, I did. Okay, now that's the simple idea. Okay, now I would like to receive some feedback, like too fast, too furious, or good. We can proceed. Maybe in chat something.
Good, we can proceed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your feedback, and okay, I will proceed. So let's go to the next level a little bit. Okay, and that's next level. It's not also nothing very difficult, but still it's a next approach. So let's create a report that will show us quantity by year and region. Okay, by year and region. So if I will use a pivot, existing worksheet, let's go here. So I will place my region here. I will place my date here. It will automatically group, and I will add my quantities here. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting to have here. Also, another table form. Okay, so that's exactly what I would like to see here, but I would like to see it again with my formulas. Main reason why, because I would like this calculation to be automatic, and I don't want to touch it anymore in my life. I just want to look at it when new data arrives. So let's start with the easiest part here, and the easiest part here is regions. Okay, so can you give me the idea how I can extract region names from my data?
The same manner, unique.
So we start with unique. Very good. Then we go to table. Table data, and here we have region. We can add sort if you want. Okay, I'm not so organized in my life, so I don't need it actually. But the problem that we have here is that our table, our column, is a column, and I need it to be a row.
Transpose it.
So how we'll transpose it? That's right. So we will use not transpose as copy paste. We will do that with a function. We will transpose our unique list. So transpose function could be used in math mostly to transpose your matrices, but here it's also a very good idea to move around your data. So you can create a row by transposing your column, and that's how it works here. Okay. Now, in the same manner, can you come up with an idea for years? It should be a list of, there should be 3 years there, 18, 19, and 20s. Can you come up with an idea? I will help you. That's my help. Can you now come up with a plan? Let's start with.
I hate dates, I don't know.
Date, yeah, okay. Oh, okay. Dmitry's come up with a solution with the column year, but we don't have a column. You want to create a column? You want your data to become messy? Actually, this is the discussion for a different time. And yes, One of the answers is, of course, to create a new column here, year, and then calculate year in that column, and then use that column in a sort and in unique. Yeah, that's the correct answer. And again, you can do this either manually or in Power Query. It's up to you. The question is, how efficient is this solution for your particular task? Sometimes it's useful to use helper column. Sometimes it's not. Again, right now, I just want to show you the length of the possibilities that this new engine gives to us. Okay, so that's why I will create this additional column in a formula without creating a column. So I will take this formula that, yeah, that's right, the formula that Dmitry now modified. So, and we'll build the same one. So I will start, okay, I will do the same as what he did. So sort, then we need unique, and then we need year. And now we go to data, date. And now you close your parentheses. So what happens here? Step number one, the inner function. The inner function. First, in the first iteration, Excel creates a column with year values from your data. Next iteration, it creates unique list from that column, so only unique values. And the third iteration, it sorts your list based on the value, and you got your results. So what we have to understand from this example is not that we can extract years from our data. It's more like that we can create an inside calculation that calculates before everything else calculates. Again, if you are familiar with Control-Shift-Enter, then the only difference here now is you don't have to press Control-Shift-Enter. It's enough to press Enter, and you don't have to select the range before you execute your formula. Okay, let's go next. Let's go to the next step. Next step, I would like to extract data from my file. I would like to calculate it.
Leonard, my question: what about the month and the day? You have only years.
Yes, I have only years. That's how my report is built. If I need months and days, then I will have a different report, and I will have a different approach. If you're interested in this, I can give you the link. If you don't know the awesome guy in YouTube, Excel is Fun, you can look into his videos. He has this problem that you want to look through, is how you can build reports
Okay, thanks,
for
yeah.
months and years.
Okay.
Now, so this should be fairly simple. Here it also should be some if, but not some if, but some ifs, because we have several rules. We have region and we have year. Okay, and again, specifically for this task, my approach will be as follows. So what I will do here, so sum range obviously is a quantity. There's nothing new here. Now the first criteria also is kind of simple. It's a region, no problem. And I go to my north, and since it's a spill range, I will add my hashtag to it. Okay, now the others. Again, if I would create a new column, this part will be easier. But today, I'm not here to show you easiest part. Today, I'm here to show you what we can do. Okay, so what I will build here, I will build a very simple test, greater than 1st of January, less than 31st of December. Okay, so I will do it like this. Again, this part is not something new, but I need to show you what this engine can do. Okay, so I select this one, then month 1, day 1. It's the first test. Oops, sorry. That's So where in a column date, what specifically? Something that is greater than 1st of January of this particular year. And I missed here a symbol. Okay, and the next part is the same date, but this time it's less or equal date. And again, we choose this one, but now it's 12/31, like this. Now the formula now looks longer, so I will use my formatting approach here to make it easier for me to later understand it when I will have to work with it. So this is my first rule, this is my second one, and this is my third one. So I have 3 rules here, like this. Since I'm using hashtags everywhere where I need it, when I press enter, I have results for every cell. And again, if for some reason I will have new year, different year, it will automatically add to my table. If I will have a new column, new region for some reason, it automatically will add to my report. I will always see it expanding automatically. Now, what I would like to do with you next. Again, not because it's necessary here, but again, just because we did this, so we have some understanding of what's going on. So I would like to show you a new function that we can use in those cases that we see here. So what is this case is that we have some kind of a calculation that we are using inside of another calculation. So now, if you have a lot of those, and you have a lot of sub-steps before you have your final result, you can place them all in one formula and execute that one formula automatically. Okay, so let me show you how it should work. The function that I'm talking about is a Lat function, and you should check whether this function is available for you, because again, this year I have noticed that this function is not available for everyone because of the versions and updates. So I have the Lat function, but again, in the beginning of the year, it was a problem. In my previous classes, I didn't notice the problem anymore. So what I will do next, how I will use Lat function, why we need Lat function. Lat function allows us to build a dynamic variable calculations into formulas. So as I will copy this structure again, and as you see, I just copied the first cell, not the whole range, but the first cell with the formula, and it automatically populated here. Okay. Yeah, for some reason I didn't select everything because I'm nervous, probably. Okay, so what will happen here? I will replace this part. I will calculate this previous to my SUMIF, and I will use here just the variable with my calculation. So how it looks like? We start with a Lat function. A Lat function, this function does not have any specific capabilities. So this function itself does not do anything. It just creates a place where you can build variables. So what I will do here, I will create a variable name. Let's say I will call it first day of year. Not of a year, but okay. So this is my variable name. Now, after the semicolon, I can build a formula that will be assigned to this variable. So in my case, I will take this date, I will put it here. Okay, so it means now that, and I will put my semicolon. Now, whenever I need to use first day of a year, I don't need to use the function, I need to use only this variable. So I go here, And instead of typing date, blah, 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 I just typing first day of a year, and you can see then now function knows that this is the variable. You see the new symbol here, X, so it's a variable, and it will act as one. So now next I can do the last day of year, and it will be the same one. This one, Control X, Control V, semicolon, and here is the last day of a year. Okay, so we have two variables: first day of a year, last day of a year, and then here we have a calculation that we would like to perform, so our main calculation. And in that main calculation, we are using one of our or all of our variables. So now when you hit enter, you have exactly the same results, but now you have this approach with the variable. So if you want to change it, you change it once and you can reuse it later. So when your calculation needs you to create the same calculation over and over again, now you can put it out. Previously, we did this with additional columns and we saved those values. Now you can pre-calculate them earlier and then just reuse them in your formula as much as you want. And this is the Lat function, and that's how it works. Now, step number 3 of this report. Let's make it a little bit dynamic. Now I would like to create this report for a specific product. Third dimension. Here I would like to type it, or I would like to select it from the list and then proceed. So to make our life easier, I will create a list. Okay, so we have a list here, but we can type also. It's not a big problem. Again, the only difference that we will have in this formula is that now our SUMIF will have an additional rule, right? And this rule will be TB data product, and the criteria will be this cell. It's only difference is that. So we just add it. Now we have a new rule that works. Now we have one product and we have another product. Okay. What was the important part here? I would like to calculate revenues now for a specific product. Again, I'm making this calculation so specific just to show you the capabilities of new functions, not because it's a very efficient way how to visualize your data. Okay, so let's calculate revenues. The revenues is a very simple idea. I need to multiply quantity with the price, and the good news is that we have a price here. So we have a product names and we have a price. So actually what I have to do here, I have to add just that price to my formula. And since I'm using Lat function, I will do it gradually, step by step. I will enhance my formula and make it more user-friendly. That's what I think about it, that I make it more user-friendly. Okay, so what I do first? First, I will calculate the price. Okay, now how I will do that? Obviously, it's some kind of a VLOOKUP or index match. But in this case, I will be using XLOOKUP not the VLOOKUP or index match. Because XLOOKUP, it's like a child of index match and VLOOKUP. So they came together finally, and now we can work with them. So I will show it in a very simple manner, but you can actually expand it later if you want. So why index match and VLOOKUP goes together in the XLOOKUP? Because the beginning is the same as VLOOKUP. You start with the lookup value, what you would like to look for. So in our case, it will be the product. Next step, you specify where to look, and this is not the same question that we had in pivot in VLOOKUP previously. So now you just select a column, and this column could be located wherever you want. So actually, it's like match. You just select the column you need. In our case, it's this column with the product, right? And you just select that part. Next, the next argument is a return array. So you select what you would like to see afterwards. And again, it's not supposed to be in the same column on the left side, on the right side, whatever you want. It's just supposed to be as long as the previous range. Okay, so here I will call to be product and price, like this. Okay. Okay, I have some problems here. My sum ifs missed. Okay. Good. What else I see in my XLOOKUP? What else you should maybe later look into? So the coolest part that I noticed here is if not found. So no more if errors. So if there is no concrete if there's no match, you just type here what you would like to see in the result. In our case, it's 0. Next part, match mode and search mode. So match mode, it's true and false. The thing that we already knew of previously. So exact match or next smaller or next larger. So the same ideas as we had in match and index. But the coolest part, I think, here is the search mode. Okay, because here you can specify which one to find. As you remember, VLOOKUP cannot find all the occurrences. It finds the first one, and it's sometimes randomly. You cannot control which one he will find. Now you can. Now you can say, look from the top, look from the bottom. So now you have the capabilities of creating a report that looks for the last deal with this product. So the last deal means go from the last to first, and it will find you the last one, or give me the first one. So it's possible. And the binary search is the same idea for if you have sorted list. So if you have sorted list, you can use a binary search. It just makes your formula faster if you have a lot of data. Okay, so that's how it looks like. And my last step is just multiply by price in the end. So I have first date, I have last date, I have price with the XLOOKUP, then I have sum ifs, just bring something, then I have a price. I would like to notice that if you want, you can do like this, quantity, let me be, that's quantity, and this is the sum ifs, and then your formula is quantity multiplied by price. So what I did here, I created a variable for my sum ifs. So my sum ifs is also a variable, and now I use my variable as my price, and voila, I'm getting the same results. So when I change the product, I have different results, and everything goes from this formula. So as you can see now, this looks like a DEX code, right? It looks like a DEX code, but it's in Excel, and you can build it with your Excel knowledge. If you have some ideas what you can do with your data. Okay, If you will let me, I will show you another example with yet another new function. And this is, again, a new...
Sorry, may I ask a question?
Yes, of course. A question. Yes, of course.
A few of them. Okay, so this defined values in Lat function, so they are function specific, and you have to define them in every function
Yes.
you use. So is it
Yes.
possible to define them somewhere outside and then just say address them when you need them?
Again, in this case, you see this formula is connected to the range that we are currently using, right? So it's you can create a user-defined function if you need it. You can do that. The question is whether it will be, can you use it more than once?
So it's same like named like a named variable or named range. And okay, so second question about formatting. So these new functions, they just they adjust range based on the input data. So
that's right.
You have 4 columns or 5 columns. If you have a formatting for these columns, this formatting will also expand and shrink, or is it be like fixed to first?
Not yet. Yes, not yet. Not yet. Conditional formatting right now does not see the spill range. Probably it will happen because it's a logical thing to do. Right now, if you will look into the helper, into the Google and whatever, you will find this approach that you select as much space as you want, and then you go to home, and then you build some conditional formula.
And simple formatting, not a conditional one. For example, I want I don't know, bold font for all numbers in this table, and it will be bold for 4 columns.
It
and the
will
fifth
be
column
bold
will
for
be...
those cells that you're right now
Okay.
using. Yes.
Okay.
Because again, it's not connected to the range yet. Probably it will happen later, but right now we have only this one.
Okay. And now a question about the speed of these calculations. For example, if you have a, count if for I don't know, 100 rows, so you have a count if formula for 100 cells, yeah. And if you have these new functions, is it faster or is it the same?
I haven't tried to compare them. What I know that right now I have a sheet, Excel sheet that has, let's say, 10,000 rows. In each of those rows, there is a sum if calculation with a Lat function and with several recalculations, and there is no gaps in the speed. There's no gaps that you have to wait while something happens. So I don't. It's not specifically answer on your question, but again, it's something that I have tried, and in my case, I don't see the drawbacks yet. Probably they will come. Right now, I don't see them.
Okay, and the last question for the for this part, you have compared the date with the pre-calculated date. Is it possible to use just a function year on this TB data date and compare it to?
Not in SUMIFs. No, you cannot use in a SUMIFs in a criteria range. You cannot use a formula there.
Okay.
There should be a column. That's why I'm dancing with the boobin here, because because you cannot apply a formula on this one. Your function will give you an error because it's impossible to change this part before you go to the next part.
Okay, thank you.
It's a drawback of not a drawback, but it's limitations of ifs functions. So in count ifs, sum ifs, average ifs, it will be the problem. You cannot change the range before you apply before you apply the criteria to it. Okay, last. Aldi, do we have a time?
It's question maybe not to me, but to everyone else. So I think it's very interesting. So let's go with the last thing. Let's do it quickly.
Okay, quick thing number 2. Okay, so the first one is just range, just let. Now the next part is the filter function. Okay, the filter function is my favorite one, because with the filter function you can actually, if you understand DEX and you understand how the filtering happening in the DEX, so actually you can build something very similar to DEX solutions into Excel right now, because you have filter. Yes, it will look tedious, you will have to do more manually, but still it's possible. You can extract a very specific part of your data set and perform calculation on that data set inside of your larger report. But again, let's start with a simple example. And so as you can see here, I have a list. This is my data, and those are my regions. Let's start with a simple example where I would like to fill out regions or region. Okay, so here I will type whatever I want. Let's say West, and I would like to see West region available to me. Okay, so I will go to filter. I will choose TB data, and I will say TB data region equal with West. So this is my include. Include means give me the logical test that I can perform on each row in your data set, and I will give you back the results. So you hit enter and you get result of only West ranges, only West rows that you have there. So you just have filtered out all your data. So here you can type North, and it gives you North. Again, you see this problem here, not formatted, and again I will just select whole column here because yes, that's the problem right now. Probably again, when this is the cool thing about new Excel right now, when I'm saying to you that it's impossible to format this, I'm not actually sure, because maybe yesterday was an update that actually allowed that, and I didn't know that because yesterday I was celebrating Christmas with my family, and but that happened. So this is the life, this is the situation in which we are living. Okay, so what I will do here, I will make this report more automatic. Instead of typing here my column names, I will use transpose TB data headers like this. Oh, wait, why I need to transpose it, right? I don't need to transpose it, right? That's how it looks like. Why I did this? Because in my filter table, I have predefined range data. So this data will get bigger, smaller, depending on what happens to my data source. So the same happens with the names of the columns. They will also change depending what happens to the data source. So fully automatic and cool. Okay, but now I would like to see region, but I would like to see quantity greater than. So I would like to see greater than 10. So I would like to see all North regions with the quantity greater than 10. So I go to my header. Cool. Oh, not header. Come on. To my filter, and I will add this into my filter. Since my calculations are becoming more sophisticated, I will change it a little bit in the formatting part. Okay, so what we do here, we will be using Boolean logic. Obviously, we will be using Boolean logic, and we will create our tests here. So TB data quantity is greater than this. So if you have AND statement, you just multiply it and it will work. So you see, we have that many results with quantities more than 10. Okay, you can check, it works perfectly. Okay, and next type. Let's add the name, but let's add the name in a way that I can type a name and it will give me all the possible answers. So I will type, since I know this data set, there is 2 Maris in that list. So I would like to type Maris and it will give me all the Maris that we have, right? So I don't have to be character specific. I don't have to be precise, and I already told you that I don't like to be precise. So let's figure out how this works. Okay, maybe some ideas, maybe you know it. Nope, you? No, okay. So I will be using here tricks from text functions, okay? So since I need to search for a specific name in Excel, I will use search function. Any guesses why not find function? Okay, you don't want to know. Good enough. Find text. Find within. Within will go to DB data employee, and that's all. Okay, so what this function will give you? It will give you either a number, because that text will be in your cell with the employee name, or it will give you error, because it cannot find it there. Okay, so if we select it, we can see how it works. Right now we can okay, I will type Maris here. It will be easier then. So let me do it again. So it's search Maris TB data employee. Okay. Right, so either it's an error because we cannot find it, or it's a value because it's in the text somewhere. The next part is some kind of a logical expression. So in our case, we go to is number because we need that. And right now, so we have a list of either truth or false. So it's basically the same thing we have up there. It's either true or false. True or false, true or false. So we multiply them together. We have added this additional filter, and voila, we have Koya Maris, we have Lucis Maris, and we see them here with my additional filter also available. So I have 2 filters that I can use and I can work with. Okay. Last trick, probably. Now this is something that I didn't prepare, but you are so good crowd, so quiet, that I maybe I will try to build it, because now I have this idea that it will be cool if I could omit some of them and still my formula will work, right? And still it will give me the correct answers. Like for example, if I use north right now, just show me all regions, right? Show me, because those 2 will work since they have this logical test of nothing. This one will not, but if I select this as empty, I would like to see all ranges. Okay, so let me think how I will do that. So I will go here, and this will have an additional twist to it. It will have if is blank, if is blank, go here. Okay, if it's blank. Now, what I have to do if it's blank? Because if it's not blank, I need this formula. But if it's blank, what I have to do?
Select all.
Select all, yeah, but we don't have this option here. So we don't have this option here. It will not work like this. So you see, what I have to do here, I have to generate in this place, I have to generate a logical answer for if it's blank. If it's blank, it means I need all rows. So all rows means that in case of our tests here, it means that I have as many ones as I have rows, right? So because this answer here has the same idea. If I will open up this formula, it will give me true everywhere, because there is true everywhere, because everything is greater than nothing. So that's true. And I need the same list here. So how I will do that? I will do that with a new function that's called sequence. Okay, before I go there, I will show you how it works. Okay, the sequence function. So I say that I need rows, and how many rows? Let's say I need 10 rows. I start with 1 and my step is 0. Okay, so what this will do, it will create 10 ones. If I will omit everything and just type sequence 10, it will give me the numbers from 1 till 10. And playing with this function allows me to create sequence of numbers with additional value. Okay, so in my case, I need to start with 1, 0. And what I need to learn, how many rows do I need. Any ideas how I will do that?
Count.
Okay, but count we already saw it, so I will use rows to TB data, right? Because what the rows function does, it's like count rows in text, right? It counts rows in your range. So this is the count rows. Now I have a list of ones, as many as I want. So what I will do here, I will place it in my if statement like this. Now I have this one. Why I have here values, I don't know. It's not supposed to be like this, but
I can offer a easier solution.
yes. Okay, what is the easier solution?
Because search function allows a wildcard, you can try something like
The same idea.
is blank AC3, then just like how do you call it? Shift 8, wildcard for any character, like звездочка. I don't know how you call it in English.
Okay, звездочка is very good. Звездочка, it's something.
Asterisk.
Asterisk. Yeah.
Звездочка. What? Don't make me cry. Так, if we start, we end.
So the first one should be unmodified, like searching for a region. So you don't, yeah. And then you just need to modify AC3 in last row. So is blank AC3 asterisk. So that should work.
Let's say that I understood what you're saying. You're right. We don't have west there. Hey, it's not working. Why it's not working? Yes, because I'm stupid idiot. That's why it's not working. This if true, and this if Now it should work. Yes, now it's working. Okay, now it's working. You see, that's what happens when you are trying to improvise. But sometimes it works. Okay, this was my little bit longer explanation of not explanation, but actually visualization what the new functions can do. And again, with this, if okay, next last step, last step, just user case. Okay, user case looks like this. You create this for someone. This someone is not so smart as you in Excel. So what do you do next? You select those three cells. You say format locked cells, so you unlock those cells. And then you come up with a very tedious password. You protect your sheet. You say only select unlocked cells. Okay, all the passwords, blah, blah, blah. And now the only thing this user can do is click here and type whatever he wants or whatever he wants. And your formulas will recalculate, your formulas will work. No one can break them because they are allowed to do only what you have allowed them to do. And most importantly is that you can build you can work with this in OneDrive. So if you can share this file with Excel Online and it will work exactly the same way. So it's not VBA, it's not pivot, you don't have to refresh anything, you just use it. It is possible to get something similar to traditional pivot table grand total with the new functions. And actually, again, yes, there are. If you are not familiar with the YouTube genius, YouTube Excel genius, that it's Excel is fun, you should look into him. Excel is fun. He has this example with grand totals. There is one very interesting way how he is using switch function to get a grand total under your pivot. So you can do that. For others, you just move your grand total to the top of your table, not to the bottom, and then you don't have this problem of changing rows. You have your total values on top row, and everything works. And we have lose only 2 listeners. It was 22, now it's 20, so it's basically a very good result, I think.
Yeah, very good result.
Yeah. Okay.
So thank you very much, Leonard, for this very interesting presentation and story. Really valuable. Yeah, this recording will be available in a couple of days for Meetup users, for you. So thank you very much again. And yeah, maybe some last questions.
Don't forget about my students. They are waiting for you.
Yeah, remember, before you are closing, leaving this meetup, please copy this link and contribute. Okay, then again, thank you very much, and I hope you to see on some meetups soon. Yeah, bye-bye, everyone, and Happy New Year! Happy New Year!
Happy.
Happy New
Bye.
Year!